Hi, Matt with Etrailer. If you're looking for a pretty compact and lightweight carrier, and you're looking for something that's going to be adaptable to fit your needs, then the RucRak Recruit cargo carrier is going to be a great option for you. So let's check it out. So RucRak is going to have some other racks out there, and those are going to be designed to work specifically with Jeeps or Broncos. The way those are going to mount is going to be to your spare tire. Now they've changed it up a little bit with the Recruit. And now we're going to be able to mount to our 2-inch hitch receiver. So as long as you have that, it's going to be able to work. And what's nice about this is designed to be adaptable, so it can really change where it's sitting right now. So where we have it at the moment, it can actually sit in between my vehicle and the rack and have plenty of space. So this is really going to shine if you have anything like the Jeep Compass or the Subaru Outback where you need to get that hatch access full time. Now today we're going to be going over some of the features and how it's going to perform. After that we'll talk about some of the specs and details. Then finally I'll give you my own personal thoughts on it. So one of the biggest things you're probably wondering is how much you can fit in here. What we got on here right now is going to be this decently sized cooler. We got one lawn chair. We could probably get maybe 2 more at most. And this kind of smaller waterproof bag. There are a couple other things you want to think about when you are mounting items or gear back here. One is staying within that weight capacity of not only carrier, which is going to be 200 pounds, but also your hitch and vehicle. Another thing going to be is strapping your items down. Anything you throw back here, you want to make sure you hold those items into place. And we're going to have a lot of different mounting points to work with. So if we look here at the front, we're going to have this paddle ring, and it's going to leave us some large gaps for us to get some hooks or straps through here. And we're going to have some smaller points too. Along with that, we'll have a couple points on the inside that we'll be able to utilize. So really the sky's the limit with how you can secure your gear. Now the next thing is going to be how high you are stacking those items. So of course if you stack anything super high, you're going to be more likely making contact with something, anything like your tailgate or hatch. I'll really show you, for example, if I had anything stacked up this high, I'm going to make contact with it. Now if I lower this down completely, you notice I'm still going to make contact with this carrier. And that's going to be vehicle specific. Most vehicles should be good with this, but some, like the Maverick we have today, is going to make contact with it. Now what I do like about the construction of this is this is going to be all aluminum except for the very top. This top is made out of plastic. So even if you do make contact with anything on your vehicle, you're less likely to scratching anything up. And going into one of the more unique features about this carrier is going to be the bottom. So if we look over here, we're going to notice we have this pin. Now they're going to have one on either side. And with this pin, if you pull it, you'll be able to flip this 180 degrees. And that's good for a couple reasons. First reason is you can actually use this as a mounting location like this too. So if the other side isn't working well for you, you can use this side instead. And then this is also going to be kind of used as our storage point. So what I mean by that is if I actually fold this up by 90 degrees, that's another thing I like about this carrier is it's pretty lightweight, easy to move. I'll be able to mount it up using these hand bolts. Just kind of thread that on a little bit. So it grabs, and it's going to hold itself up. You're going to have one of those on each side. And with it in this position, we can really talk about what makes this rack adaptable. So right now you'll notice we do have this cutout right here, and that's going to be so you can see your license plate. You can actually flip this 180 degrees if that's going to fit your needs a little bit more. Now with the vehicle we have today, that's not super applicable since our license plate is way off here in the corner. Now we go over to the second thing, and that's going to be how this shank is designed. You'll notice we do have a couple pinholes right here for different mounting locations. So like I showed you earlier, we won't be able to open up our tailgate all the way because we're going to make contact with something. So if that is an issue for you, you're probably going to want something that's going to sit a little bit closer to your vehicle, and we can do that real quick. All I have to do is remove my pin and clip. That's something else to think about. This rack will not come with a pin and clip, so you just have to make sure you have your own. And we'll push this in and line it up with a different one. if we want this to sit just a tad bit closer. But now we can move over to the specs. So since we're already at the shank area, we can talk a little bit more about it. So we are going to have 5 of those pinholes, and they're all going to be in inch increments. So if we go from the center of that hitch pinhole to the very back of your carrier, the folded up position, this is going to sit at around 20 inches from the furthest point out. Now that's going to be using your furthest away hole. Now if you're using the hole closest to the carrier itself, that's going to be sitting at 16 inches. So anywhere around there, you're going to have room to play around with. Just make sure that's going to work with your vehicle or whatever situation you're going to be in. Now, we're also going to have this anti-rattle collar. I moved this out of the way earlier just so we can have a better look at what's going on. And the way this is going to work is you're going to have this U-bolt that wraps around your shank, and we're going to have a plate on the bottom that's going to be held in place with some nuts. Now you'll be able to tighten those nuts up with a 9/16 socket and wrench, and that's going to prevent any rattling or shaking from occurring on your rack, which is important because that could cause damage to your equipment, and it could maybe even lead to you losing something on the road. And the last thing I really wanted to talk about with that shank is going to be its construction. So it will be made of steel, so it's going to be very sturdy, very strong, and it's actually making the entire carrier stronger. Reason being is, if we look over here, this shank also tees off. That tee is kind of resulting in more of a weight distribution, making sure we have full coverage on that carrier. Now, the reason why that's great is because this carrier is made of aluminum. Now it is thick and it can handle a lot even with those straps really pulling against it. But compared to steel, it just won't be as strong typically. And that's how we're able to get that high weight capacity because of that shank. Now what I do like about this construction is, since it is made of aluminum, it's very lightweight, and I like we have this recurring powder coat up here because it's going to make us look more cohesive overall. In my opinion, I think this is a solid choice, especially if your vehicle has a lighter weight capacity when it comes to the hitch. Because with this not being a super heavy carrier and not having a very high weight capacity, I think it's going to fit nicely with those smaller vehicles. Now, if you have anything like a Bronco or a Jeep with the spare tire on the back of it, I'd actually go with RucRak's other option that mounts directly to that. Reason being is it's just going to feel a little bit more custom fit, and you'll be able to load it up and keep it loaded and then access the back of your vehicle full time and can guarantee it. But something this has over that other option is you can actually put a wheel attachment to this that turn it into a wagon. So after you get parked and you want to go to the campground, you can just wheel all your stuff in one location. But this is just a look at the RucRak Recruit cargo carrier. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.